this command has to display the contents of the file which I have previously created and put it onto HDFS. So we will execute this command. Did it show the contents of the file? So if you can see, the highlighted one is the content of the file. Actually it will not highlight on the screen. I just wanted to show you the screenshot of that. I have highlighted with black color background and the text color is white. In reality it will not give you any kind of such highlights, right? So nevertheless, try to understand the command what we have given to execute the jar file under the program which we have created by name SRIDEVI, and you are trying to read the contents of the file which we have created and kept on to HDFS. So this is the program to implement the file read command, and the file is residing on HDFS, not on the local drive. If you remember this procedure of creating the program, all the MapReduce programs more or less follow the same analogy. So all the MapReduce programs will follow the procedure, and we are supposed to execute the MapReduce programs in the same manner. Thank you. So the first file that we have added, the jar file that we have added is under user lib Hadoop. There is a file called hadoop-common.jar. This is the first jar file we have added. The second one will be under file system. You find the user folder under which there is a subfolder called library, under which you find one more subfolder, Hadoop-MapReduce. Select this folder. In this you find another jar file, Hadoop-MapReduce-client-core.jar. Generally we read it without that hyphen notation, Hadoop-MapReduce-client-core.jar. So you are trying to add two external jars. Select this jar file and say OK. If you see, both the jar files are selected into the window, Hadoop Common and Hadoop MapReduce client core.jar, these two, and you click on OK. If you observe, under the referenced libraries for this particular project, you are seeing both the external jars which we have added are coming here. So after adding these two external jar files, if you observe your program, all the red color lines which were underlined with these packages are gone now, and if you observe your errors area, there are no errors. So previously it was showing in red color because you did not add these external jars which will take care of all these packages, all the code related to these objects. So once you find zero errors, click on package. Under the package you have whatever is the package name you have, under that you have something called as export. Click on this export. What do you want to export it as? You want to export it as a jar file. So select jar file, give a name to the jar file. So I have specified the name as, under home folder, under Cloudera, under the subfolder workspace, the name of the file is cat34 jar file. So I have given this one. Please remember this. You are supposed to remember the path of the file. Click on finish, and there are no errors which I have told after adding the external jars. Now if you come out to the terminal and give the ls command, you should be seeing the jar file which we have created, cat34.jar, under which subfolder? Workspace. Now how do I execute the command? This command is to be remembered for every program which you are executing with HDFS. Under MapReduce section, this command should be remembered. What is the command? Hadoop jar the jar file name, what is the program name you have given. If you remember, it is SRIDEVI I have given, that program name, and what is the file name from which you want me to read the contents. This file name, if you observe, the name of the file which is there in HDFS, not in your local system drive. Give this one, it will show you the contents of the file which I have previously created. If you remember, this program has to read the contents of the file. Did it read the contents of the file and displayed it on the screen? Yes. So with this, the file read command execution completes. So these are the steps which are to be followed in order to execute these programs. If you remember these steps, executing the rest of the exercises under MapReduce will be very easy for you. Thank you. So whenever you are calling demo.print HDFS file contents of URI, the control comes to the function what we have written in our program, print HDFS file contents, and it will take the URI of the file as the parameter. If it cannot open the file, always it throws exception. So when we are dealing with files, generally we try to throw an exception. If the file could not be opened, there is no such file existing, likewise it will handle all those exceptions. Now we are trying to associate the file name whatever we have given during execution to open that and associate it with the in file handler. So if you can think of, it is like you are opening a file and in will be similar to what we use in C language. We work with files, we call it as the file pointer. So here we call it as in as the file handler. Now the next method what we are calling is ioutils dot copy bytes, and there are 4 parameters of this method. I will explain each and every parameter. In is the file name with which we are associating this handler. After I read the contents from the file, where should I display them or where should I write them? Here you are saying write it onto system.out. So the default one is the monitor wherein it will try to display the contents. Then what is the third parameter? 4096. This is the number of bytes that should be read whenever we contact the file handler. This is similar to the getChar function or getC function which we use in C language while working with files. Both those methods will try to take character by character. Here you are saying copy bytes is the method and you have given the number as 4096. So at any point of time it can read 4096 bytes for every contact with the file handler. After finishing all the contents, what is the last parameter? False. Do not close the file by default after completing the work. If you don't give here false, after completing reading the file is automatically closed. We know whenever we work with files, we need to open the file, read or write, then close the file. So if you don't give the last parameter false, it will by default take it as true and close the file. So you are saying don't automatically close the file, you are making it as false. So do not close the file. And in the finally you are explicitly closing the file. The in is closed here, right? So after finishing writing the thing, you have something called as, you are seeing some of the lines marked as red color and in the below it is showing 13 errors. They are not errors of your program and it is underlining some of the packages also. So in order to avoid all these errors, there is something called as adding the external jars, for which you click on JRE system library in this, or else you can select the experiment. There is something called as build path. In the build path you have something called as configure build path. Click on this. This will take you to the screen wherein you have multiple options. You select the one, add external jars. You select this one, add external jars, and click on OK. You go to file system, user, Hadoop. In this you select a jar file called Hadoop-common. Whenever you are working with MapReduce programs or file system related programs, you are supposed to add two external jar files. One is file system / user / lib / Hadoop. If you see, you can see the path here. In that you will find Hadoop-common.jar. Good morning everyone. Let us start with the second experiment of big data with Hadoop and Spark. The second experiment is, say for example we have a file existing in the HDFS. Using a command, generally you can see the contents of the file. So now I will show you what would be the Java implementation of the command which will try to show the contents of a file. The command for seeing the contents of a file which is already existing is cat space the file name. The moment you give that, it will show the contents of the file. Say for example you want to see the contents of a file and the file is existing in the HDFS, distributed file system. What is the command equivalent? HDFS space DFS space -cat. As I mentioned in the first experiment, every command of HDFS comes with the hyphen switch. So we are supposed to give HDFS DFS hyphen the file cat, the file name of which you want to see the contents, right? So go to Cloudera Oracle VM VirtualBox Manager, go to the Cloudera screen. Here you will find on this Cloudera desktop, you will find a tool called Eclipse. Click on the Eclipse editor, then go to File menu, click on New. In this you have something called as Java project. Select that one. File menu, New, Java project. Then give a name to your project. I have given SDFRead. So you can try to give name for your file read command, whatever project name you want. Once you finish giving the name, click on finish. Nothing else to be changed here. So I have given the screenshot wherein finish is selected. Click on finish. You should see a screen here, and if you see, you are seeing the project name as SDFRead. SD is a short name I give. F read stands for file reading. This is the experiment for reading contents of a file. Now click on source. There is something called as SRC. This is the source folder here. So click on SRC here. Then you type whatever file you want to, the entire program should be typed here. All these are the packages which we need to work with Hadoop system. So input output stream, when you are working with Java files, we know we need to give the package to be imported is java.io.input output stream. Here, because I am not writing any content into the file, I am just reading the contents of a file. I am importing the package only java.io.input stream. Now every file in the distributed file system of Hadoop will have URI, Uniform Resource Identifier or Universal Resource Identifier. There is just like similar to URL, it will be Universal Resource Identifier, URI. So the package which deals with URI should be imported. Similarly, configuration, this is the configuration area where the file system works, and then file path, all these packages which are needed to work with should be imported. Then you have to type your program. So I have given SDFread the class name, and what is the default path where I have to search for. If the path for your system is different, you can specify that. And which file should I read? Whatever the user is specifying in the command line arguments, that argument will be specified here with args0. And we are trying to call a function demo.print hdfs file contents of URI. The control goes to the function here